Hello, this video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon and my members on YouTube. Minasan, arigatou gozaimasu. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation. It's an exercise that I do each and every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's now 5:02 a.m. on the 25th day of January, 2024, day 325 in my countdown to retirement, day 99 for Yumiko. Wow. I do this exercise to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can get a copy of from the link down in the description. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the various challenges and opportunities that I met. I plan for the coming day and I ready myself for death. But before I do any of that, I like to read a poem. So turning back to Edward Thomas, we're going to read again his probably one of his most famous poems, The Path. Here we go. The Path by Edward Thomas. Running along a bank, a parapet that saves from the precipitous wood below the level road, there is a path. It serves children for looking down the long, smooth steep between the legs of beech and yew to where a fallen tree checks the sight, while men and women content themselves with the road and what they see over the bank and what the children tell. The path, winding like silver, trickles on, bordered and even invaded by thinnest moss that tries to cover roots and crumbling chalk with gold, olive, and emerald, but in vain. The children wear it. They have flattened the bank on top and silvered it between the moss with the current of their feet year after year. But the road is houseless and leads not to school. To see a child is rare there, and the eye has but the road, the wood that overhangs and under yawns it, and the path that looks as if it led on to some legendary or fancied place where men have wished to go and stay, till sudden it ends where the wood ends. Wow. I think that's the second time I've read this in earnest. I've read it maybe 5 times total in my life. Imagine that, the mountain, the steep mountain, the road, the path, the adults coursing, or the adults making their way along the road, attentive to whatever can be seen in the proper passage along the road, and whatever can be seen across the edge, but not down. The children, though, what did he say? They have flattened the bank on top and silvered it in between the moss with the current of their feet. The current of their feet, like a river current. And they look over the edge to what's down, looking between the legs of the beech and the yew to where a fallen tree checks the sight. They can see no more. And the path goes to no school. What brings the children here? It ends sudden, where the wood ends. I've known places like this, particularly in Japan. I will see places like this again soon, if I can make it there again. All right, let's go on to yesterday and last night. Yesterday's checklist is here. I didn't get too much of the personal stuff. There just wasn't enough time. I had to go to the office. This really illustrates the difference between working from home. Working from home gives me more time in the morning to work on my personal stuff and more time after work to work on it. But I didn't have that basically 2-hour window, that 2-hour commute, that 1 hour each way to do all this, and I couldn't attend to my personal stuff. So one more good point for working from home, huh? And but I did all my work stuff, except the DDDM thing. All the rest are checked off. Good. So I promoted DDDM to today. Yesterday was a strange day. I was interviewing my replacement at work. We interviewed 3 candidates, 1 woman and 2 men. They were all really good. I think we should have. I think the organization should hire them all. I've done enough of these interviews to know that it's like it was a 777 interview. We interviewed 3 people, and if it was a slot machine, it would have been 777 right across the board. One of them was exceptionally good. I think that's the person we're going to hire. I'll meet today later with the person I interviewed with and make a decision. Wow, but it was sobering also, and a bit unsettling to be interviewing my own replacement with the very same questions that I was asked when I applied for the job. How strange, what a reversal of things, being in the other seat, literally. And they knew that I was the one they were to replace, and so they were asking me pointed questions about my daily life and the job and etc. And the person that I was with was my boss, who would be their boss, and it was a perfect environment for a good solid interview. The interviewees could get a good idea what they might be getting into, and I could help them. I could answer their questions, and I could judge more quite effectively, I think, with their suitability for my role, right? But it was unsettling too, for 2 reasons. One, the first obvious reason, it was unsettling to be hiring my replacement, more and more, which is exactly what I want to do. I want to begin burning the bridge before I leave. I want to dismantle my way back. I don't want a way back. This is going to be a one-way street for me to leave America for the last time. And I don't want making it impossible to return, burning the ships, as they say, right? Isn't that what, was that Alexander who did that? Burned the ships, so the men had to return via Asia? Don't remember. So there's that. Also, it was unsettling. I felt like they were more qualified, even though I'm older than them and I have more experience. I felt the 3 of them were more qualified than me for my own job. And it wasn't because of skill set necessarily, although there's that. I think all 3 of them, particularly 2 of them, had much deeper technical skills than me. It was mainly, the one word that keeps coming to mind, it's a strange word, it was their youth, ambition, and what was the word? No, I just lost it. But it came to my mind yesterday too. Vroom? I think that's it, vroom. They just had this young, ambitious energy. Like, we're going to succeed. We can do this. We can take this job on. Michael, if you see this, you probably have encountered this too. You and I both know what it's like to be in that position. In a way, you're still in that position where, we have a family to support. We have means to meet. We have ends to meet via means, and it's up to us to deliver those means, whether we want to or not. And so that vroom, vroom. I don't have that anymore. It's more like a blah, blah. And the word is humbled. I know we use that word, we throw it around. People sometimes use humbled when they mean they're honored. I was truly humbled to see what I am no more, and to realize that these people have it. Then when I had another meeting later in the afternoon, and I was kind of slapped awake, right, to this, and I was with someone else who had a meeting later in the afternoon with a coworker, who's in a similar situation in his career, young family man, position of great responsibility, and I saw the same ambition in him, the same vroom in him, and I was humbled again to see that I don't have that. Grateful also. I had enough of that. I don't want to do that anymore. I finished off the day yesterday with a talk with Henry David Thoreau via ChatGPT. I created a Henry David Thoreau GPT. Someone had asked me an interesting question, that same person I was just mentioning, because I told everybody that this is getting ridiculous. It's my own fault. I told everybody like 4 months ago, I began telling people I'm leaving on December 16th, 2024. That's my last day of work. I wanted to plant a flag in the sand. And it all started because of a really bad day at work. Really, really bad. I was going through a difficult phase at work. It was about 6 months ago. And I was pissed off. And I said, what the hell with it? I'm going to plant a flag in the sand. I'm done this day. A friend of mine who might, or chance, see this, already retired person, once told me, person of great responsibility, now retired, once told me, while they were still working, they were one bad day away from retirement. It was always stuck in my head. That was my bad day about 6 months ago. And instead of retiring that day, I said, plant a flag. I'm going to plant a flag. And I had planned to do that because the organization that I work with, or maybe this is just the excuse that I use. Probably that's it. I was pissed off that day, and I started telling people that I'm going to retire. The excuse that I used was that I'm fessing up for the first time. First time I'm realizing this. Truth serum. The excuse that I used was that my projects are big, and I was just finishing a big project. That was in August to September period. I was just finishing a big 20-month project. And rather than have the organization give me another 20-month project, which then I would leave, partway through, 12 months in, and then they have to plan a new project manager that has to come up to speed. That's not good. So it's better to let them know ahead of time so that they can then give me a project that will finish before I leave, which is exactly what they did, and then give the big project that they had waiting in the wings, which they did have waiting for me, give that to somebody else. In this case, they're going to give it to the new hire, right? So that more altruistic reason that worked out, because they said, wow, you're going to leave in December 2024. We'll give you a project, Kurt, that you can finish before then, no disruption or little disruption, and then somebody else will take the big one. You see, but the real reason was I was pissed off. I just cloaked it with this other thing, which is true too. Anyway, this person I was talking to yesterday happens to, I won't give that detail. They said, why don't you wait until March? Because you'll get a benefit. You'll get more money. True. My pension would be better if I waited until March 2025. But that's a perpetual cycle, right? I mean, you can just keep pushing that. You play that game, till you're dead. And lots of people do. There's lots of people at work that have been there for 30, 40 years playing that game. And Jesus. So I had a talk with Thoreau. I was commuting back, and I had ChatGPT on, listening to the audio. He was talking to me through the car, and I gave him that situation. I said, Thoreau, what would you do in this situation? Would you trade time for money? I said, I would rather leave in December with less of a pension and more time to live. And it's interesting how ChatGPT will give advice. ChatGPT Thoreau on his own behalf said, yeah, he would leave early. And then he recommended I do the same. I wonder if OpenAI knows that it's GPT, that it's AI is out there giving people advice. Big life-changing advice. I was heartened by Thoreau's guidance and support and resolved in this. But yet, this means I need to make it happen. I can. I will. Okay, let's wrap that up. Vroom. All right, now on to the Good Life Creed. There are 8 objectives and 35 principles. The objectives, before I begin though, I'm going to talk about pull one off the shelf. This is the objective called Complete Oblivion. This objective simply says that once I'm dead, there's nothing left of me. I don't believe I have a soul. I don't believe any of us do. I don't think that exists. I think we're simply, consciousness is a byproduct, a consequence of an emergent quality of thinking, of deep thought, of the processes that we have here. Similar to, and I'm really reinforced in that after the studying about AI and learning how artificial intelligence, emergent qualities happen in artificial intelligence. And I think our consciousness is like an operating system on top of this wetware that's going on in our head. Since I don't think that there's anything in us that's magical or that supernatural that can survive after we're dead, that means that when we're dead, we go back to the nothingness that we were before we were born. Remember that? What we weren't before we were? I don't remember it either. And that's exactly where I'm headed again. Armed with that, I am heartened to live well in the time that I've got and to not invest my better living in an afterlife that I don't think will ever be here. Okay, let's do the 8 objectives. War. No, those are the principles. The first objective is to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions, to recognize true limits and true opportunity, to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, and to keep my balance. My 35 principles now are, and complete oblivion is in there: war, reason, homunculus, anchor hold, home of good and evil, purpose, atomic principle, nature, pirate ride, maturity, social principle, family, public speaking, temperance, life will not go well, the horror show, the feast of oval, distraction, agency and the great indifference, the best seat in the house, the restless man, the path of wildness, the great life adventure, the risk of avoiding risk, sin and damnation, complete oblivion, the season of philosophy, script writing, the bullseye aim, the uphill climb, arena and utility, nothing is enough, the principle of fun, and being prepared. Oh, look at that. 34, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 34. Did I forget the season of philosophy? Maybe that's the one. Anyway, I won't give myself that score. I missed it. Okay, funny, yesterday I couldn't get them at all. I was out of my element at work trying to do this, just in the parking lot. Okay, let's come back around now to today. For today, I have 13 items on my personal side, 11 items on the work side. Now it sounds like, Kurt, you're going to spend your whole day doing personal stuff. No, I'm very diligent. I'm very disciplined. I'll do these items before work, during my 2 20-minute breaks, during lunch, and then I have an hour after work that I can do this before Yumiko finishes her work after I get back to the beach. I'll do all of these. I'll get them all done. The one that I really keep pushing off is the dogs. Now, I do have tomorrow off, so I can do that. I need to get the dogs ready for their trip. The work stuff, I'll get all that. Last, am I ready to die? 3 questions. 1, are my affairs in order? Yeah. Even more so after some actions I did this week earlier. 2, are my relationships sound? Yes, they are. 3, is my life's work complete? You bet, especially after Monday. After my daughter came home, I went to the airport to pick her up. Man, that young woman has really blossomed into maturity. And she got a job in hand, and she got another prospect on the line. Turns out there's another company that's in Japan, that's a big company, that's extended an interest in her. So she might explore that too. Although I think since she's accepted this first job, I think she's going to stick with that for at least a year. But we'll see what happens. But it's interesting that she's got feelers coming in from other organizations that recognize as an international organization, that recognize the skill set of a bicultural, bilingual, degree-holding young adult in this world. Her equipage seems to be a good selling point for her career prospects. I guess that's it. I'm done. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care.